Hello everyone. Is there a more opportune moment for us to talk about how digital transformation is reshaping our business world? We all have seen how the pandemic in the last couple of years has not just helped us move into a digital way of working, but even a digital way of living. Everybody used to work from home, all transactions were paperless, all forms of entertainment were digital, and we used to see, families gathering around digital platforms to interact, to celebrate birthdays, to continue to work, to continue to study, so on and so forth. And let's get an understanding as to how this is going to disrupt not just our way of working, but also the entire business world end to end. Let's just go back. I was just driving this morning and I was thinking that the best way to drive is by looking at the rearview mirror. So let's just take a look at what happened in the last couple of years and then see how these trends will play themselves out and create permanent change in our lives for years to come. What happened, in March 2020? There was a sudden lockdown announced. People had to suddenly, start working from home. Imagine a call center. How does a call center work? People have to go to an office. There is a software which basically gathers all the incoming calls and then rounds them to the executives as and when they get freed up. Now, if people are working from home, how do we manage this? We have customers and we have executives, but how do we manage this interaction? And that's when, creativity is at its best. What we realized was we have the capacity available, but in the absence of people working together, how do we come up with a creative solution? So what we did is we told our customers that all you need to do is to give us a missed call and then somebody will call you back. So we converted inbound and missed call as a solution in terms of when customers could not call us, they just give us a missed call and then we call them back. We also embarked on a massive communication blitzkrieg because it's very important to let customers know. We told our customers not to worry. We told them that they could reach out to us using an array of our digital assets. We have a chatbot, we have WhatsApp, we have a portal, we have a website, and we have plenty of assets. And our customers started using them virtually overnight because at that time everybody had to latch on to the digital bandwagon. Now, one thing which we all may be thinking is, was it tough? Were customers, facing issues? What you'll be very pleasantly surprised to know is that at that time, our customer grievance ratio came down. Not by 10 or 20%, but by a whopping 90%. So that just tells you how if we are digitally ready, we are in a position to ensure that we can actually reshape our business world. And then what happened over the last, couple of years? Many of our processes, became digital. In case somebody wanted to buy a health insurance policy and he couldn't step out of the home, we basically ensured that uninterrupted servicing could happen via digital means. So, for example, if let's say somebody wanted to get a treatment for a minor ailment, we told him that he could basically contact our empaneled set of doctors via voice, text, or video. And after this digital consultation, he could then just go and buy medicines. And that's how customers, were in a position to ensure that they got uninterrupted servicing from us. Similarly, when medical tests were not possible, we leveraged telemedicine. So a doctor would electronically examine the applicant and then based on the results, it was all seamless. The flow of information was seamless from the applicant to us, from us to the diagnostic center, and from the diagnostic center back to us. And we were able to ensure uninterrupted servicing. In fact, it was such an impressive process that we actually won a global award for our entire end-to-end digitized electronic health insurance process. Let's also talk about the human angle. I've been talking about business, I've been talking about customers, I've been talking about a core business. When we have, people working from home, how do we keep them engaged? We had to ensure social and physical distancing, but at the same time, we had to ensure digital and emotional connect. So what we did was we embarked on a digital engagement program called Celebrating You. And we converted adversity into opportunity. When people are working from home, it's not just about engaging employees. We also realized that since they are now working from home, we can engage families. So we moved from employee engagement to family engagement using digital platforms. So for example, when we had a weekend MasterChef, we invited family members to join in. We had a WhatsApp group and we saw people across the country, posting recipes. Somebody's mother, somebody's wife, somebody's daughter. And there was huge emotional engagement at that time. So much so that when we actually figured out our employee engagement scores, pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, Ironically, our scores during the pandemic period were higher than the scores pre-pandemic. We just realized that human ingenuity is so high that no matter what the situation, we can always find a solution. And this is exactly how digital transformation can reshape our business world. And from our employees' perspective, I told you how we engage them. We even had, for example, digital antakshari. We had virtual birthday celebrations. The birthday boy or girl would cut the cake at home, and on a digital platform, we would all celebrate and upload, virtually. So that's how, we were able to ensure that, we came to terms with this absolutely unprecedented situation. Now let's also look at, the whole marketplace, right? Because when you are in business, you are interacting with a lot of people. You're interacting with your partners, you're interacting with your stakeholders, you're interacting with your potential customers, you're interacting, with a lot of people. Because at the end of the day, when we say digital, there is somebody who's initiating it and there is somebody who's receiving the output of it. How did that entire interaction happen? And that's when the fact that, we could not contact anyone, we could not exchange paper, but our entire workflow was paperless, really helped us tide over the situation. Let me give you some examples. If let's say a partner of ours, wanted to issue, an insurance policy, he didn't have to, worry about coming to the office or exchanging paper. He could basically use an app or a portal and issue the policy at his end. Similarly, in case, he wanted to, let's say, understand, a certain part of the process, let's say how to file a claim or how to process a refund. What we did is we basically converted our library of standard operating procedures into a video library. We had quick 2-minute bites, and we used to basically send them over WhatsApp to the distributor. What he would do, he would basically go through the video and then quickly understand how to process the particular transaction and then carry it out at his end. So that's how, we were able to ensure absolutely seamless processing. The other aspect in terms of looking at the entire paradigm is also how do we bring in the human touch? Because while we all are focusing on digital transformation and we enable workflows, so that the work continues uninterrupted, we also need to understand that at the end of the day, we are dealing with human beings. So at the start of the pandemic, while the onus was on digitizing the physical, now, and I think that's exactly where, in tune with our topic of how digital transformation is going to reshape our business world, we need to understand that now the onus has shifted to humanizing the digital. How do you get the best of man and machine? How do you ensure that you get the efficacy of bots, yet you have the healing touch or the empathy that only a human being brings in? So let me explain this with an example. Let's again take health insurance. That's one area in our business where we directly insure the human being. In a lot of other areas, we insure the asset. Let's take somebody who is unwell and wants to go to the hospital to get treated. What happens when you go to the hospital? Primarily, you have two worries. On the one hand, you want to move from the arena of illness to the arena of wellness. You want to recover. On the other hand, a lot of people, especially when they go into this healthcare system or when they go to hospital, they're a little wary of navigating the complex administrative machinery. They need to go to multiple departments for bills. They need to coordinate with a lot of people, to get the reports moving. They need to go to a third department for bills. Then they need to go for reimbursement, and so on and so forth. So what we did is we basically deployed relationship managers. And we have two kinds. We have real relationship managers as well as virtual relationship managers. What they do is they tell the customer by offering loads of empathy to just focus on recovery. The relationship manager takes on the onus of navigating this entire complex administrative labyrinth in hospitals. And customer feedback has been wow. When we took a net promoter score from customers, we got a score in excess of 90 without a single detractor. It just shows, how you can be digital with a human touch. You can be digital, but you also can ensure that you give empathy to customers, because when they come to you, they come to you when they're in trouble. And that's precisely where this combination of digital and human can work best. So that again is a key trend which we need to focus on in terms of how digital transformation can reshape a business world. It's not just about bringing in efficiency or efficacy through digital assets. We also need to ensure that we give a human touch. So that's how, we are seeing a few trends. Now, what are some of the learnings from this? Especially those of you, who are watching this module, the whole idea of, listening to me is for you to understand what are the lessons, right? How do you basically plan for such instances, in case they happen in future. First, it's always customer first, technology second. We are here primarily to solve a problem or to create a wow experience for customers. So put the customer first, understand what is the business need, and then the technology follows. And it does not always have to be a state-of-the-art solution. Sometimes the simplest solution works best. So clearly, this is one learning. As simple as it sounds, it's something, which can be often overlooked, because sometimes, there could be a tendency to take the simple for granted and then focus on, whatever is glamorous or, whatever is the latest buzzword in town. The second thing, what we have gleaned from our experience, we've been able to bucket this entire experience into what we call a 5-step process. I already touched upon that briefly, but I'll take you through the entire journey. Step number 1, understand your customer's needs. The second step, and I think that's what differentiates the good from the great, is to basically classify your customer needs into stated needs and unstated needs. Stated needs are obvious, customers articulate them, and then you go about figuring out how to meet them. But a smart firm will read between the lines and also understand what are customers' latent needs. What are the needs they have not expressed? And if you can meet those needs, that's when you stay ahead of the competition. So let me give you an example. As I said, during the pandemic, we are primarily, an insurance company, and therefore our focus will be on ensuring that we continue to offer customers uninterrupted servicing in terms of issuing insurance policies, in terms of giving them claims on time, so on and so forth. But we had come out with, like I mentioned, this doctor on chat feature just by listening to customers, whereby customers who could not get access to the healthcare system at that time because of the huge pressure on managing COVID-19 cases at that time, if you had a minor ailment, you really wouldn't get access. So at that time, customers could use our mobile app, have a simple digital consultation with the doctors via voice, text, or video, and then after the digital consultation, they could just go and buy medicines. And customers loved it. In fact, when we got an independent Net Promoter Score study done on health, we ended up with a score significantly above our competitors in the marketplace. The third step is to basically scrutinize your current landscape and then take an inventory of your current systems and processes and all that you do. And typically, you will find that the customer may not have been at the center of what you're doing. If you look at a lot of firms, let's say universal firms, right? The setup is not that the customer, gets a one-stop shop service, right? He may have to go to multiple departments, for various needs. So which is where step 4 comes in, which is you then re-engineer the entire landscape, and typically using Lean Six Sigma, so that you make it as good as you can, as nimble as you can, and customer-centric at every stage. And only then does step 5 come in, which is that you deploy the right digital solution. Sometimes there is a tendency to go directly to step 5, and which is when you will find that you may end up having more failures. But if you follow this 5-step process, you're pretty much, guaranteed success in terms of a smooth rollout. And on step 5, an important aspect is that, like I mentioned earlier, it's not always about, latching onto the latest buzzword in town or coming out with the state-of-the-art solution. Sometimes even the simplest solutions have maximum impact. So that's again, a huge learning for us. The other thing is, as students especially, and as youngsters, who are aspiring to, make it big, what we need to understand is that today it's not about having a formal education and then saying that, I have learned whatever that there is to learn, and now I'm going to start working. It's a constantly evolving landscape today. So today, it's not about being a know-it-all. It's about being a learn-it-all. You need to be a lifelong learner. Technologies are evolving. Customer expectations are changing. The competitive landscape is changing. You have, for example, a lot of non-linear competitors coming in. So how do you keep learning? How do you become agile? Agile in your mindset and agile in terms of your approach. That again, is an extremely important aspect. And as we now get back into the post-COVID world, in terms of how digital transformation, to go back to our theme, is reshaping our business world. We do see, a few trends, which will continue to be in vogue. For example, today it's a hybrid model. It's not about, everybody necessarily, having to come to office. If work can happen very well remotely, there is no reason why, firms will not continue to adopt that model. Similarly, in terms of travel, if today, there is a quick need to have a call, you don't need to necessarily, physically travel. People have become comfortable, with the fact that, they can have, collaborative discussions. But yes, in terms of whiteboarding, in terms of, brainstorming, sometimes physical meetings, can work better. So it's going to be need-based. Digital is going to be an enabler where we feel, we can cut down on time and distance. At the same time, since we are social beings, travel, in terms of meeting colleagues, in terms of socializing, we will see that, coming into work. So it's going to be, a hybrid world. What we have seen today, it's about curating digital experiences, so that customers can have access to services. So for example, if let's say you want to get a washing machine repaired, you could have a call and then there could be self-help. Similarly, if you want to, go and see a sample flat, it's about, seeing it, digitally, right? You could see it could sit in any part of the world. So it's going to be a good combination of, physical and digital. So as we enter into the hybrid world, wish you all, happy learning and ensure that, you continue to work with your customers and partners, because we all exist for the customer. And I think as long as, we have that as the lighthouse, we will be able to ensure that we are on the right path to success. Thanks to DLC and Jimmy Mistry for creating this platform, so that, we can share our views with students and youngsters who want to learn from us. And, wish you all success and glory in the years to come. Thank you.